Danny, obviously, we've had time to sort of reflect on the result now. A point gained or 2 points lost?
Bit of both. Bit of both, without having the easy way out of your question. I think the manager especially was disappointed in the first half performance, really, all round, and a really disappointing goal to concede. But fair play, the boys have come back again from a losing situation, regardless of Maidenhead's position in the table. You've got to come back from a 1-0 deficit at a place which is really tough to get anything. So you get a point. We were disappointed, obviously, didn't get a penalty and missed a couple of good chances, but a point is certainly much better than 0, without stating the obvious.
Yeah, I think I've spoke actually to Tom Naylor this morning. We were saying how sort of, the boys have sort of admitted that they probably weren't at it at the top level on Saturday, but still managed to pick up a point, and that is a sign of what champions would do, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully. I think Auckland probably we weren't at it at all for our standards, and Maidenhead probably wasn't nowhere near as bad as Auckland in terms of a flatness of performance, but it still wasn't as great as we've been playing. But you can't go a whole season being brilliant every week, and when you're not brilliant, you've got to get something from the game, and we certainly did that. Yeah,
I think it's important for people to actually remember that as well, isn't it, that even Manchester City at the weekend sort of proved best team in the world.
Yep.
Everyone has off weeks, and we had an off week and still managed to pick up a point.
And it could be a massive point. Like I said in the pre-match, they've beaten the likes of Notts County, ourselves, Wrexham, Grimsby all over the years have all gone on to get promotions, and we've managed to get a point there. So hopefully going forward that'll be a big point.
And moving on to Bromley then, what are we expecting from them?
Strong team, very strong. He's done a very good job again, Andy. Every year they're in the playoffs, they're up there. I think they lost a few of their bigger names over the summer, the likes of Swamney, and yet they're still up there. Probably a younger team than they've had in previous seasons. They've still got, for me, one of the best strikers outside the league in Cheeky. So, yeah, massive threats all over. Webb's a colossus at the back, and there's always a little bit of liveliness, shall we say, between the two teams over recent seasons, and that's all part of the fun, isn't it? I'm sure they'll admit as well. We'll have a beer after and have a chat about the game, but yeah, it's a little bit of a battle, isn't it? And you can't go a whole season without playing teams that want to have a battle, and we've got to stand up for it. But within that strong structure they've got some good players and they play some good football. Yeah,
and Bromley are sort of well renowned, aren't they, as one of the more physical teams in the league, but probably again important to remember that they can also play some really good football.
Yeah, they can. I think they're built on real defensive structure, and they've got a real tactical style that they play to, and they're on a hell of a good run, so it's really working for them, and we've got our own tactical setup that's working for us. So it's two teams going head to head. Both teams want to get out the league. I'm sure they want to revenge the playoff game, which should be exactly the same if it's the other way around. We were so disappointed with how our season finished last year, and I'm sure they are as well. So it's still early days, but it could be a big 3 points to dictate where the season goes, as is every other week.
And what about team news then? How's the squad looking going into the game with, Saturday, Tuesday seems like it's never ending at the minute?
Yeah, exactly. And it's maybe a good time to, some would say, to look at other players and give a few a breather. At the same time, we're on an unbeaten run. Why would we change it? So there's two philosophies to go with. Which one we go with, we'll have to wait and see.
And Shex is obviously back in training today. Sort of, how's he getting along?
Yeah, back in the fold now. Probably a little bit too soon for him to be involved tomorrow. But probably going forward, from Saturday onwards, he should be around the squad.
We spoke about loans. Bailey Clements obviously getting a full 90 minutes for Eastleigh, and then Bailey Hobson-McKinnon to scoring a couple of weeks ago. Sort of, how important do you think those loans are going to be for those two players?
Yeah, so far so good for them. Bailey's apparently been a shining light for Kidderminster, who are down the bottom of the league, and the other Bailey was excellent by all accounts at Halifax and helped them with a massive 3 points for Eastleigh. So I think it's the manager said it before, it's much more a case of them going out to get games to benefit us selfishly and them, as opposed to getting them out of the way and the old saying, out of sight, out of mind. It really isn't. They couldn't find two nicer lads who work so hard and are so good around the group when they're not in the squad. It's great for them to get some game time and feel part of something. At the same time, we want them to come back at some point and help us get over the line.
And then finally, obviously, it's another game at the SMH Group Stadium on a Tuesday night, and those the nights are normally special, aren't they, under the lights, at Chesterfield?
They always are, and it's nice because as much as we would love to have gone to Maidenhead and won comfortably, we got a point, so they're coming on a continuous unbeaten run, which is great for them. There's a real buzz around the town, but we have to be ready for Bromley because they're a very good team who are going to bring a lot of threats.